start by quoting the great Martin Luther King, who states that our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter, close quote. The Civil Society Health Emergency Response Coordinating Committee expresses its deep concern at recent reports of an outbreak of typhoid in some parts of Harare and emerging trends showing the spread of the disease to other suburbs of Harare and some parts of the country such as Mutare. The outbreak of the waterborne diseases such as typhoid and cholera is not a new phenomenon, with outbreaks repeatedly recorded in most rainy seasons in the past decade, resulting in deaths and serious illnesses of thousands of people at a given time. Typhoid, cholera, and other related waterborne diseases are now considered historical, as they are largely preventable. There should not be cases of outbreak anywhere in the country today. The reported cases of typhoid of 2 deaths and over 132 cases thus represent a clear failure on the part of government to uphold its constitutional obligations. It is acknowledged that since the first publicity on the 28th of December 2016, various efforts at central government and local authority level have been made to contain the suspected cases of typhoid and curtail its spread to wider areas. However, what is quite clear is that such efforts have not been enough to curtail the spread of the preventable waterborne disease. Whilst government and the local authorities have announced conservative figures of confirmed cases of typhoid, alternative information gathered from our community health monitors reveal a problem on the increase against a background of denial, or at least lack of public acknowledgement of the extent of the problem by the state. Given the information at hand, it is critical that we call upon the state through all relevant agencies to firstly acknowledge the existence of a wider problem, and secondly, to robustly respond to the cases of typhoid before the problem reaches unsustainable levels. The latest cases of typhoid are not isolated incidents, with a historical trend dating back to as far as 2008, when more than 90,000 cholera cases were reported and more than 3,500 deaths as a result of an outbreak. The problem must therefore be understood in terms of a systemic failure by the state to deal decisively with a known problem. The repetitive nature of the outbreaks of typhoid and other waterborne diseases is a result of failure on the part of the state through central government and local authorities to plan adequately and anticipate the outbreak of such diseases every season. The key drivers of the outbreak of typhoid are known and have been repeatedly highlighted in the past years. These include the erratic supplies of clean water in most urban communities, the supply of contaminated water, and failure to attend to the leaking of raw sewage into the environment. It is common knowledge that cholera and typhoid epidemics thrive in the areas that lack clean water and have no proper sanitation. It is the responsibility of the government to formulate and implement short-term and long-term solutions to the endless problems of lack of clean water and adequate sanitation. We further wish to highlight that the outbreak in Mbare, which was the biggest bus terminus, makes it difficult to contain the spread of the disease and presents a potential national outbreak. This calls for immediate action by both the city of Harare and the government to contain this outbreak. The Constitution places an obligation on the state to guarantee rights of persons to safe, clean and potable water, which is Section 77, the right to a clean environment, which is Section 72, and the right to health care, which is Section 76. It is therefore imperative that the government takes these rights seriously and uphold the fundamental obligations contained in the supreme law of the land. Zimbabwe is also obliged to respect its obligations to guarantee these social rights as stipulated in the numerous international human rights instruments it has voluntarily ratified, such as the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and the United Nations International Covenant on Economic and Social Cultural Rights. We, the Civil Society Health Emergency Response Coordinating Committee, therefore make the following recommendations to address in the short term the current typhoid outbreak and more long-term, the implementation of a sustainable plan to prevent recurrences in the future. We therefore call upon the state through all relevant agencies to acknowledge the extent of this problem, encourage all relevant government actors to robustly respond to cases of typhoid before the problem reaches unsustainable levels. We call on the state through relevant line ministries and the local authorities must come up with an urgent, well-resourced, comprehensive plan that adequately provides for responsive measures to any suspected cases of typhoid across the country, and such a plan must be publicized. The state must implement urgent and effective measures for the provision of safe, clean, potable water as a direct measure to combat the spread of typhoid. The state should roll out a well-publicized campaign that includes the electronic and print media, mobile information vans, and distribution of pamphlets as part of a public awareness campaign on the prevention and spread of typhoid, containing it where it has been reported. The state must set up a commission of inquiry that looks into the recurrence of preventable disease and comes up with recommendations for non-recurrence in the future. The state must embark on a comprehensive consultative process with key stakeholders before coming up with a sustainable long-term strategy that includes a clear plan for provision of clean water to all communities and regular monitoring and evaluation of progress and challenges to prevent recurrences. The state must increase funding allocation on water, sanitation, and hygiene, and strive to achieve 15% allocation to health as stipulated in the Abuja Declaration in order to enhance the quality of life of citizens. Last but not least, the government must seriously embrace its social and economic rights obligations in the Constitution and guarantee realization of the right to a clean environment that is not harmful, the right to health care, and the right to safe, clean, potable water for everyone. I thank you.